What's going on, people? This is your boy Freddie the Barber, and I just wanted to address one thing real quick that I don't see a lot of us taking the time to discuss, and that is this whole trend of zero gapping. There's a lot of us who want to make an attempt to make really tight, sharp lines when we are doing the lineup or when we are doing designs and our clients' haircuts, but we need to be very mindful to make sure that we are also taking care of our clients' skin. Too many of us have the desire to follow this trend, and we're actually doing more harm than good. Zero gapping is when you move the moving blade or the cutting blade all the way up to the same level of position of your fixed blade. You understand what I'm saying? Or static blade. Your fixed blade or static blade is the blade that is basically back here. The blade that is back here is your fixed blade or your static blade. This is your moving blade or your cutting blade. And when people are doing zero gapping, what they're doing is they're lining up these blades to where there is no gap. It's considered a gap when you have your fixed blade or static blade a little bit higher than your moving blade or your cutting blade, which moves like this. This blade doesn't move, but this one does. The back blade doesn't, front one does, okay? I'm breaking it all the way down 101 because of my experience as a barber instructor. I'm used to teaching barbers that don't know anything, so I'm not going to assume that anybody who's watching this video understands from the top everything that I'm talking about, okay? Now, the challenge with zero gapping is the smaller the gap, the sharper the cut is going to be, the sharper the clippers are going to cut. So we have to be mindful that if we are doing that we have the right hand to perform that haircut. You know what I'm saying? If you are a light-handed barber, then it's easier for you to be able to manipulate the clipper without cutting the client. However, if you are a heavy hand barber, I do not recommend that you zero gap your edges, that you zero gap your trimmers. I do not recommend that you do that because you are more likely to cut your client's skin, especially in sensitive areas. If they're sensitive where the C cups are, if they're sensitive where the line in the back is, or back here in the nape area, if they're sensitive in those areas, or even on some parts of their scalp, and you're doing designs, then you're more likely to go ahead and to cut the client. Now, what I would recommend is that you don't zero gap your trimmers, but you just leave just a slight gap so that you will be able to still make sharp lines, but after you line them up with the trimmer, that you would just follow up with the razor. It'll be easier if you do it that way because you're a lot less likely to cut the client. If you know what you're doing with the razor, you will have no problem with this method. 9 times out of 10, barbers are following up with the razor anyway, so this would even do more damage to your client's skin if you are lining them up with a zero gap trimmer and you're following up with the razor. That's how you see some clients, they would come to the shop, and there are some clients who I've gained because they've come to the shop, with these cuts along the lineup, or they would have these dark marks, because of all of the friction from the trimmer from a heavy-handed barber, or they're using liners that are too hot, which is another reason why it's very important that you have multiple trimmers so that we can be able to make sure that we keep our clients' haircut sharp, but we are also taking care of their skin. You understand what I'm saying? So what I normally do when I find a client, and this is just a solution to this challenge, when I find a client who comes to me who has this challenge with their skin, what I recommend they do is use shea butter or cocoa butter on their skin and make sure that, they give their skin a break. So it has time to heal. And if they have to get a haircut, to make sure they're going to a barber, if it's not me, that they're going to a barber whose, trimmers are not so sharp that it's cutting their skin. You know what I'm saying? So this is something that I hope that helps, because it's not for everybody to follow these trends. And if you find your trimmer out of line at any point, which is why we should check them all the time. If you find your trimmers out of line at any point, make sure you do what's necessary to keep your trimmers in line, so that one corner won't be sharper than the other, but it'll be nice and even, so that you will be able to take care of your clients the way they are supposed to be taken care of. So let's be mindful of the well-being of the people who we are serving, so that they can have not just a good service, but even when they walk out the door and they see the condition of their skin, they will be happy with that as well. All right. So any questions, any comments, any concerns, please leave a comment in the comment section. If you like this video, please like it, please share it. Let's spread the word so that we can take better care of the people who God has placed in our care to serve. All right. Talk to y'all later. Have a blessed one. Peace.